Edgy isn't always a bad thing. I've said it before and I'll say it again. But every show in existence has one edgy character that everyone loves. Edgy can be done well, and it's only people who love jumping on bandwagons who can't see it. And because of said bandwagons, the word edgy is now synonymous with bad. And I know a bunch of you are like, oh, but Pentagrin, you're edgy. Yeah, I know that. Thank you. I know this topic's been done to death, but let me have some fun too. Yes, this video is going to be harsh. I feel like if you dish shit out, you have to be able to take it. I feel like everyone's been way too soft with their criticism so far and are missing certain points. Why did I choose Savdraws? She stuck out to me, and I want to punch her.
Kind of stood out to me a little bit, mainly because I wanted to punch it.
So let's begin with one video that every commentator is using as a basis for their claims. And right off the bat, we have loud, obnoxious music. That sure sets the scene for the rest of the video.
Everything that you see, and let's get started, yes.
Wow, you seem to look like a relatively competent video editor. Now if only you put that amount of effort thinking about what you're going to say instead of randomly pulling shit out your ass. And wow, no disclaimer. Oh wait, there's one here, in the description. A place where nobody actually looks. Please do not go witch hunt this user. This is a critique and advice to help this person with their character. It appears that not even you have read your own disclaimer. I wouldn't call this a critique. I've never seen a professional critic try so hard in my life. As an actual artist studying animation at university, I can tell you right now that my tutors and peers have critiqued me, and not one of them has ever sunk down to a level like this. I would be mortified if a tutor called my work edgy or cancerous, and not because they're insults, but because it's as unprofessional as you can get when giving informative criticism. You want to help the creator? Really? Do you know that being blatantly rude and obnoxious will make the creator resent you and not want to take your word? If I had someone down my ear constantly berating me, I would probably go out of my way to either piss them off further or just give up altogether. And yes, I feel the ocean's salt level rising dramatically from this rant, but this is a serious issue. This user has over 40,000 subscribers, and most of them must think that this is how criticism works, and it isn't. It's immature at its best, and insulting to every critic who knows what they're doing at its worst. There's a difference between being satirical and being genuine. A good OC reviewer who I find to be funny and offensive without crossing into this kind of territory is Puff Daddy the Insensitive Hate Monger. I've been a fan of his videos for a while now, and I've submitted OCs for him to review, knowing that they'll be flayed. But the difference is that his videos are comical and aren't serious. He gives reasons behind his criticism, and he comes across as someone who genuinely knows what they're talking about. Unlike Savdraws, who has an agenda against neon colours and thinks that any character that utilises them is automatically designed poorly. Talking of neon colours, she goes off on this character just because of the amount of neon green on it.
Neon green has nothing to do with huskies. And why do they have to add the green nostrils?
Honestly, this is what you want to complain about. There isn't even a copious amount of neon green on this character, and its colour scheme is simple and eye-catching. Two things that every character designer wants to look out for. But obviously you wouldn't know that, because I get the impression that you don't know anything about what you're talking about. You literally have a video about colour theory, and yet you obviously don't understand colour theory. This would be a bad colour scheme if the designer didn't make the rest of the character desaturated. The character is so obviously related to toxicity in a way that having them neon green is an essential tool in connoting that. There's a common rule of thumb that a character glowing green has some connection to radioactivity or toxicity. Look at The Simpsons as an example. This rule is followed a lot there. Neon green has that connotation, end of story. So can you please shut up about how you dislike that one colour, because in the scheme of things, your bias won't change the general consensus of a character's design.
Green and black, bam! Neon green and grey, bam! Edge!
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realise that the colour green was now considered edgy. We all know how fucking edgy Cosmo is. Now, where do I begin to talk about the fact that you are complaining that a drawing of an anthropomorphic dog is not as realistic as you want it to be, and then go off and complain about it not having a visible penis?
Cause he has a green fucking bulge! And he doesn't have a dick! He doesn't have a dick!
You cannot complain about an anthro dog's colour scheme if you do not understand basic canine anatomy in the first place. Have you ever been outside long enough to see a real dog? Because if a dog was walking around with its dick out, you'd almost certainly notice it.
After she was cured and had a successful recovery, oh, she was cured! Oh, cancer cure! There's a cure for cancer!
Is she being serious? Cancer can be cured, you absolute moron. Granted, some are more harder to cure, and some, like pancreatic cancer, are just downright fatal. It's rather ironic that you don't know that much about cancer, despite the word appearing in a majority of your videos. There is a thing called research. Fucking do some. Let me talk about something in relation to research. I used to be a fan of Savdraws. In fact, I watched a few of her live streams. One of which was one where she reviewed OCs. I was lucky enough to have one of my OCs reviewed. And let me give credit where credit is due. She wasn't as obnoxious during the stream as she usually is. Probably because it was her fans' characters that were getting critiqued. But there's a few teeny tiny problems I think I should point out. She didn't bother to read the biography. And it wasn't even that she didn't see it. She acknowledged that it was there, but didn't want to read it because it was too long. Despite sitting for half an hour reading another one beforehand, but you know, whatever, fair enough, right? Well, not exactly. Whilst I know time's limited during a live stream, you can't exactly call it a review if you're just looking at a character's design. She picked up on the fact that my character's eye was bleeding, yet she'd have known why if she bothered to read the biography. The biography is one of the most important things in character design. If she were as knowledgeable about the subject as she acts like she is, she'd have known this and taken it into consideration when trying to review characters. The biography should normally explain who a character is, and in turn that will show why they look the way they do and explain the way they act. The biography and the design work synergistically. And let me just say, she always has to point out when a creator's grammar isn't flawless, yet she mispronounces names and stumbles over her words whilst reading. So man, stop being so picky, you're just making yourself look more hypocritical by the minute. Speaking of hypocrisy, I know a bunch of you will have picked up on the fact that my last serious video was how I dislike call out videos. I did within that video mention that I find it acceptable to call out someone if they're a genuine threat, and let me be honest, I find Savdraws a genuine threat to an artist's self-esteem and the reputation of the review community. Delving more into hypocrisy, she often has a mate review stuff with her. Her mate's OC looks like this. Sorry, but isn't this the kind of stuff that you normally have a go at? But no, it's fine to have an OC that looks like this if you're a friend. Just like how those OCs submitted during a live stream were respectfully reviewed. If you're trying to put on an internet persona, there's one thing you must never do, and that's contradict yourself to the point where both you and your persona are laughable. Do you want to be taken seriously or not? There's a fine line between being funny and being a dick, and Savdraws hasn't only crossed that line, but shat on it as well. And also probably called it edgy. And yes, I'm trying to avoid going off on a tangent about how many times she says the word edgy, but she even addresses the issue in this video.
And no, I don't have another word for edge. Sorry.
Congratulations, your vocabulary is on par with a 5-year-old and you can't be arsed thinking of any synonyms. And you call yourself a reviewer, please do the community a favour and strip yourself of that title. And maybe even buy yourself a thesaurus. Hell, they even have one online for free. Use it! There's no excuse for this. It's pathetic, honestly. Her videos remind me of a bickering 10-year-old wanting to prove to others that they're the best window licker. They're immature, lazy, uneducated, and destructive. There are probably a few hundred more well-informed critics out there not getting any attention because mindless drones think that this is what a review looks like. These are not reviews. These are not constructive, and the information given in them is certainly not valid in any way. But what else can you expect from a person whose YouTube career is literally just complaining about petty things and drawing the things that she claims to hate so much? My condolences go out to anyone who has had their OC mercilessly mocked on such a video, and I hope someone who actually knows what they're talking about will review these OCs in a fair and constructive manner. And with that, I'm out.